my name is Jenny Lauren Dowden for Conduit News, and today we're excited to have Mike Swanson joining us in the studio. As many of you know, he was a candidate for the Bentonville School Board race, Zone 7, and he won that race, unseating an incumbent. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So just first tell us about yesterday, leading up to it, and whenever the results came in last night. How did that go?
Yeah, it was, as many people know, I'm new to the political scene, so I really didn't know what to expect. I just spent most of the day out, kind of helping out those volunteers that were, supporting me and holding signs and doing all that at all different polling locations. And then, yeah, last night, I was just kind of sitting there, and all of a sudden somebody, a lot of text started coming into my phone, and I hadn't even looked at I wasn't really actually kind of actively looking. I just got a lot of texts from friends and family, and some congratulatory texts. So that's how I found out anyways.
Parental rights were on the ballot big time yesterday. Not just, we saw the Virginia race unfold, but then also locally in Bentonville and really across the country with the school board races. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so, and I was out talking to parents and talking to, just knocking on doors. That was one of the biggest concerns, just this general idea that, parents weren't necessarily being, like, their input and their feedback wasn't being valued, that their concerns weren't necessarily being validated by the schools. And so, yeah, and just kind of that whole attitude of, parents just being kind of taken for granted or thrown by the wayside. And so, yeah, I think you've seen, and I don't think that's just a local phenomenon. I think, we've seen that, like you said, in Virginia and a lot of these other places where, parents they're not content to sit by the wayside anymore. They want to know what's going on in their kids' education. They want to be involved, and they want to make sure that the values that they have are being, promoted in the classroom. And so, yeah, I think that's kind of what you saw. I mean, and obviously you've seen, again, other places it drove big turnout, big involvement. And so I think that's encouraging to see. Recently,
we saw in the Virginia race, Governor Terry McAuliffe said parents don't get to have a say, or they shouldn't have a say with what happens in their child's school. And I think that really kind of awoke the mama bears and the papa bears in a lot of ways. And so, wait a second. Yes, like parental rights are important. What our kids are learning is important. You should not force your agenda on our child. And is that what you saw ultimately in Bentonville?
Yeah. I mean, obviously my, decision to run and actually get very involved is a little more on the intense side of things, but that really is that same attitude of, parents want to have a say in what's going on in their kids' classroom. And I think, I go back to what I told a lot of folks throughout the last few weeks is, the schools are, historically the schools were an institution that existed to assist parents. They were there to provide a free education to, anybody who wanted it. And, I think parents are tired of being told that the schools are in charge and that they're the ones that are going to tell, them how their kids are going to be raised. And so, yeah, I think you've seen a big pushback, and, rightfully so. I mean, it's their children. It's, my child. And I want to make sure that, I have a say in what they're being taught in their classrooms.
So what does that look like, bringing back the parents into the role of working with the schools to, make sure that there's not divisive content, there's not pornographic, books in the library? How do we move from where we are today to where you think we should go?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, I have told a lot of folks is we need to, lose this kind of attitude that government has all the answers, that they know what's going on, that they have, that they're experts in everything. I think folks in all levels of government need to get back to listening to what the concerns are, whether it's parents, whether it's just voters in general. And I think that starts with improving transparency, and being able to admit, mistakes when mistakes are made. And, being clear and communicating with the parents. I think that just goes a long way to just rebuild that trust between the school and the community. So I think that's an important step that needs to be taken.
So when do you begin to serve on the school board?
I believe it's essentially immediately. Yeah.
Okay,
So
great.
I need to go get sworn in, hopefully by the end of this week. And then, yeah, I believe the first board meeting is November 16th. And so that would be my first, I believe, official board meeting serving.
That's exciting. What would you say to parents or community members who they may have an upcoming school board election, or they are having issues with their school and they're wanting to affect change there? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I mean, I have been really, like I said, I'm very new to this whole process, but it's really encouraging to me to see just the impact that just regular folks, moms, dads, neighbors can have. I mean, it literally just comes down. I mean, it was really encouraging to see just kind of the beauty of America play out, and saying that people can raise their voice. They can obviously talk to their neighbors, talk to their family members, and you can create change through voting. And so to see that play out, I've told some folks, I'm not a very impressive person. I'm a pretty regular guy, and to see people come together and help me and support me, just because they wanted something different, they wanted to change. And so I think that it really just is a matter of just getting out there and doing it. It's not impossible. If you saw some of the funding numbers in the campaign, I believe outraised almost 4-1, and it didn't matter. I mean, you saw the results.
Yeah.
And I think ideas and values are what people want to hear, and that's what they're voting on.
And I think we'll see that continue going into the primaries next year.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We're so excited for you and look forward to seeing the great work that you're going to do in Bentonville.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.